Good morning, friends. Finishing up the morning. We just finished some school. The girls are gonna go have recess while I get lunch ready and change the clock because we had a power outage last night.
It was raining so hard.
It was raining so hard. All right, good morning, friends. This morning, normally I tend to my sourdough first thing in the morning. I let it sit overnight, let it do its second rise, and then ready to bake it, and it'll be totally ready by lunchtime. Well, it's lunchtime. Can you see all those bubbles? It is like definitely risen to the point it's like collapsing. So we'll kind of see how this bread does. But I've been having a really fun time experimenting with all the different breads. We've got our sandwich loaf here, which I experimented a little bit with putting it in the fridge, trying to get a longer ferment with it, adding honey instead of sugar. And so not my favorite bread loaf that I've made, but still fine and great because the girls gave me such a compliment this morning, and Callie points to it and she goes, Mom, like this is the kind of bread that we buy at the store. And they tell me all the time, Mom, I love your bread. And it just brings so much joy to my heart that I'm able to make this food that they love. I mean, and it's just, okay, so right now bread making is kind of a hobby where I'm still learning. Good morning. Hi, should we open the curtain and say hello to the day? Can everyone see the chickies? They are now officially in the entire garden except for my garlic patch and my strawberry patch. Those are fenced off and so they can't get to it, but they are doing a beautiful job on our garden and our compost pile. That compost pile used to be double the size. It is now flattened. They're scratching it out, hopefully eating some seeds because I did not thermo heat. Is that how I would say it? I didn't hot compost that compost. I just kind of let it be because I didn't have time to turn. Good morning. You say hi, good morning. Okay, can we put our passy down? Good job. Passy. Put it down. You put it right there. Is it ready for your next nap? Ready? Set. Oh, dippy girl. Okay, do you want to make some bread with me? You want to make bread? Or do you want to go jumpa? Your sissies are on recess. Do you want to go jump?
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to tell them how you say yeah? Do you want to go jump?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's so fun. Okay, we gotta get shoes on and get you a jacket. It has been so fun. She's been saying yeah to everything, and most of the time it's pretty appropriate. It's not just she's using that as a sound. She's really telling us yeah.
Passy.
Passy? No passy. Ready? You wanna go teetsy? Yeah, tell them. What do you want to do? Where is she? I'll go say teetsy. And go out there. Are you guys not jumping anymore?
There's a monkey ride under the trampoline.
Teetsy. Oh, I did my thing. I have to say, this trampoline, that trampoline, is the best purchase we have ever made. They want to jump every single day. Gets out their energy, gives them some exercise. Man, I really deflated this bread. Hopefully that's still gonna have a good second rise. Okay. All right, guys, this is pretty monumental. I am opening my second bag. Maybe it's our third. It's my single-handedly, I used all of it. This is my second bag of 50-pound of flour. And for Christmas this year, I feel very Father the Bride, where a blender, he got me a blender. All of my gifts for Christmas, my birthday, Valentine's Day, and beyond are purchased. And they are very much family gifts because it's stuff I am going to be using to support the whole family. But one of them is a grain grinder. And we finally, after a ton of research, finally found a refurbished one on the Nutri-Mill website. My brother has one. Other people that I know that grind grain use a Nutri-Mill. Other brands are fine and great too. but we ended up finding a refurbished one from the company, which we're really confident in that. We've gotten a lot of cameras that are refurbished, and if they come directly from the company, we feel confident that they have done their due diligence to make sure you're getting a good product. But we are going to be switching out this white flour. It is great to learn on. I feel like I have become a confident baker with we use organic King Arthur flour. Okay, so we use this King Arthur. We use the organic one, and then it's certified 100% organic hard red wheat flour, and then barley flour. Okay, are you guys ready to learn today? We're gonna talk about nutrition a little bit. I really dove off into the being as nutritious as possible, being as clean of a household as possible. My journey started with infertility. Now, I grew up with a very natural mom. She kind of developed that through my childhood. I didn't start with that. I had Tang and Lunchables as a kid. She's gonna be mortified that I said that, but like we used to eat just, anything that made convenient food. And then she slowly but surely kind of switched to being more and more natural. So when I was an adult, I kind of had a jumping off point of knowing healthy things. But you know what, guys? This whole concept of this person has got it right, this eating plan is absolutely right. Anyone who kind of talks about this absolute is perfect and right for everybody, if you hear that, like if you step back and actually listen to that and think about that, that's just wrong. We are all so different. So how in the world could one eating plan be good for everybody? So anyways, in that, I have gone on the whole gamut of eating. I have done vegan, I have done paleo, I have done Whole30, I have done a lot of things, and honestly, I have learned a lot about metabolic eating. You can do your own research on it. It talks about some of these eating diet fad. Actually, I'm going to talk while I'm baking. How's that? Because this poor bread is getting deflated more and more. So cute. Ready? Well, come tell me about it. What happened? What happened? It just fell down?
Yeah.
Do you go boom? Boom.
Do you go boom?
Do you get back up and you stand up? Do you want some water? Do you want to eat? Pear?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want pear?
Yeah.
Okay, you go get one.
She's so cute.
This one fun thing about our pantry is that all of our fruit baskets are right at the height. Yeah, you can have an orange. So our fruit baskets are at the height where the kiddos can reach them, except for Cassidy literally brings me oranges all day. She probably eats like 5 little tangerines a day. 5 little cuties a day. Okay, we gotta get going on this bread because it's like utterly deflated, but it should hopefully be fine. And honestly, it still tastes good. Okay, back on my nutrition chit chat. So I'm just gonna peel it all off and flip it down onto my board. You can see all these nice stringy strings of the gluten forming. Am I teaching them how to make bread? I'll teach them later.
Then why are you doing that?
I'm just doing this so I can do 2 things at once. I can chit chat, kind of let them see my bread making process, but I'm not really trying to teach right now. This is my no knead loaf. I've done a handful of recipes, and this one works really well in my opinion. It's pretty consistent. My friend gave it to me. So with a no knead recipe, I more follow it, but with my kneading recipe, I don't follow a recipe. Does that make any sense? So when I have recipes where I knead the dough, I do it by look and feel and touch. And eventually I'd love to teach you guys how to do that because it's very comforting to know that I don't need a recipe. I can just look at the dough, feel the dough, and I can tell what it needs and what to do. Okay, but this is my wet dough, my no knead recipe, so it's a little bit stickier. So all the gluten just develops on its own without me kneading it. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. Okay, back. Let's talk nutrition for a second. I went gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free at 16 years old trying to resolve some stomach ache issues, and it was before anyone even knew what gluten was. Nope, yeah, you can have one. We're gonna make crackers right now. And I feel like a lot of it actually worked. A lot of it helped make my stomach aches go away. But with the metabolic eating, it was talking about how we have kind of thrown off our metabolism, and we think of metabolism as just how fast or how much you metabolize quickly, so therefore you're skinny. Like, people think metabolism. Metabolism is how in your cells, all your cells need to be where they've got a good metabolism, where they can efficiently and successfully use energy. Now, if you have been feeling good the way that you eat for 5 years or more, not a problem. But for me, I feel like I was eating this certain way, and I feel like my hormones struggled. I had so many symptoms of thyroid, even like to somewhat recently, I really struggled with thyroid symptoms, even though my results were always normal. And with metabolic eating, I started adding in sourdough back to into our life. We've been adding raw dairy back into our life, and all of a sudden I feel so much more vibrant. I feel like my hormones are balancing. I have energy like I've never had before. Granted, I've also added B12 and vitamin D like regularly. I used to take it sporadically, but now I've added it regularly. Sorry, this long-winded thing, all of that to say is, if you're not thriving, pause for a second and think, what is my body needing? What is the nutrition it's craving? What is it asking for? And maybe we're not on the right eating plan. Anywho, all that to say is we make a lot of bread, and it's going to be switching from white flour, hopefully soon, to freshly ground wheat flour. Now, man, this is gonna be a long video because I want people to know this so bad. Anyways, all of this to say is that a lot of us trying to focus so much on what not to eat that we are missing on what we should eat. Fermenting is so good for you, so healthy. You can look into all different kinds of fermentation, but sourdough is an amazing way to add fermentation to your food. And most people are already eating bread, so you can add that in. So I was getting to with the grinder, here's education time. Let's learn a lesson, everybody, all together. So back in the day, people would bring their wheat berries to the grinder, and they would grind their grain for the day. Now, a wheat berry is the size kind of like a grain of rice, think of it that, and I want to grind it up to use it as flour. So when we grind up a piece of wheat, there is part of it that is called the bran, there is part of it that is called the germ. Now, when you have white flour, you don't have the bran or the germ. Now with wheat flour, they take some of the bran and add it back. And most of the nutrition is in the germ, the part that's not even added back to the flour that we're buying at the store. And so that's where you're gonna have all those amazing vitamins, and there's some good oils in there, but those oils can make the flour go rancid. So it makes sense. Of course, you don't want to be putting something on the shelf that's going to be sitting there and let it go rancid. And when it's rancid, it's really not good for you. Like, it can actually be kind of more harmful. But we are missing out on the nutrition, guys. This I am making for my family, which is 1,000,000 times better than me buying it at the store. Way more nutritious. So much of that healthy nutrition is added to my food when I'm fermenting with sourdough, and I can control the substance that's going into my bread. When you look at the back of your bread and the list is this long, it should not be that long. You should be able to read and understand every ingredient. And then if you do understand all the ingredients, usually those loaves, at least where I was buying them, they are $5 plus a loaf. That's a lot. When my family can go through a loaf of bread in one meal. So how do I plan on adding all the nutrition back into my family is I am getting a wheat grinder for Christmas. I have already purchased a bulk 50-pound bag of wheat berries that are shelf stable. When they're in that wheat form, they are shelf stable. They're gonna be awesome. And I bought it from our local Amish market, which I'm super excited to support them. They are one of my favorite places to shop around here. But if you're looking to bulk buy and you don't have stores like that, you can look into Azure Standard. I think that's how I say it, Azure, A-Z-U-R-E. I'll just put the link in the description. I was looking into buying bulk from them. They have a lot of stuff out of stock, but I would rather just buy from my local. But when I freshly grind it, I have all the nutrition from the germ into my wheat. And I can make it slowly but surely, I can make it a little bit coarser, and a little bit more of that grit is actually gonna be great for, that grit in the flour is actually going to be amazing going through our digestive system. Now the only thing with freshly ground flour is that it starts losing its nutrition right away. Within the first few hours, you're gonna be losing nutrition. Within 72 hours, like 90% of that nutrition is gone. Now I'm learning all of this stuff in the bread masterclass that I am taking. It's a fellow YouTuber family that I have really enjoyed their videos, so I wanted to support them and buy their class. I know some people kind of feel like if you're sharing on YouTube, like it should all just be for free. Well, I wanna support their family and allow them to be able to afford to keep making content for me. So I was very happy and willing to buy their class. And so I'm learning a lot about this nutrition of the wheat berries and all of this through her class, which is just so encouraging. Here, let me give you a little tour of all the sourdough going on in the house right now. In my fridge, I have a sandwich loaf that is slowly rising. And I'm hoping that if this rises over like a day or two, because this is really rising very, very slowly, it could possibly end up being more sour. That is my goal. Oh, and the other side of my fridge, up on the top, let me pull that out. Oh my gosh, that is too much. We need to be eating this like right now. Okay, this is some discard sourdough. So these are made into dough for crackers. So we are going to roll these out and make them into crackers. I mean, I would actually love to bulk make pancakes and waffles with my sourdough discard, but these were just a fun cooking class we did with the girls where I had all this left over from Mimi's house. She's making sourdough also. So I took a lot of her discard that she had been accumulating and let the girls independently do cooking class. So they got to pour the starter in by measuring with a measuring cup, and it was a hot mess in here, but it's very fun to feel confident and independent in the kitchen. And it was all like pouring, mixing, measuring. It was very good. It was perfect for my young kids' age. Okay, what else do we have going on? You saw my no knead loaf. That's kind of going for its second rise. And then over here, I've got a couple of different containers of sourdough. So I did sourdough starter last night and I made this much. And what I'm loving is marking it with a rubber band because then I can see, oh, it's over doubled. If I don't use this right now, it's gonna start coming back down. And then imagine what your sourdough starter is gonna be doing to your bread. If it's coming back down, your bread is going to be following suit. If you get it when it's doubled, or maybe even up here, I guess is fine, it's on this growth part of the sourdough. And so that's what it's gonna be doing to your bread. So I've got a couple different ones. This was 100 grams, this was 50 grams. And all I do is 1 to 1 to 1. Starter, water, flour. That's all I do. It's so easy. Look how active and bubbly this is, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Look how beautiful. I don't have as much.
Mom, sourdough pizza is the best.
You're so sweet. You see how all of this yummy, bubbly wonderfulness?
Why do you put the rubber band on it?
So this is how much it looked, this is how much was in here last night, and this is how much it grew. This is active and alive, and it's got good bacteria in it.
Wait, it grew? It grew up?
It grew up. My girlfriend was asking me, how does it not mold? Because the sourdough is so active and so healthy and so amazing that if there's any fantastic. And so if there's anything bad that gets into it, the good bacteria goes and annihilates it and eats it up. Now, if you find mold in your starter, get rid of it. That should not be there. Okay, let's talk a little bit more nutrition. Okay, let's say that you are entering the just idea of maybe, possibly, I could think of adding one more thing to my schedule, as in making bread. I hear you and I see you. And the idea of a wheat grinder is way up here, and you're like, take me back to the beginning, Alex. Okay, so sorry for this lengthy video of talking nutrition, but if you meet my mom or myself, we could talk nutrition for a very long time. Like, to the point where my mom, if I can just get her to just start, like, she would dream of just sharing her nutritional knowledge with others. Like, she's so knowledgeable and just a great resource. But let's say you're like me and you're just gonna use some flour from the store and you're gonna start baking bread that way. Guys, when they preserve the bread for it to be shelf stable, my bread is bad, I wouldn't say bad, but crusty and hard within a handful of days. Let's say, depending how I store it, I could probably store it for a week, but usually I just leave it on the counter because we eat through it fast enough. But 3 or 4 days later, it's ready to be put into a crouton and put it into a soup, or I really want to make like a French toast casserole or something like that. But why is that? Why is my fresh bread made at home going bad so fast? Because I don't have any preservatives in it. And unfortunately, the bread in the store, even that organic, healthy, you can read the ingredients, it's staying on your shelf for such a long time because it's got to have some kind of preservatives in it. And those preservatives are going to kill off the enzymes that are in that bread that help you digest it. And now we wonder why all of us are so struggling with bread, with gluten, and we have to cut it out. Guys, I am the beginner of saying I was gluten-free from the beginning. From the age of 16, I didn't eat gluten. I would cheat, and then I would get stomach aches, and then I would be bloated. Now, this to say, of course, if you have health issues, if you have celiac, if you have other major things going on, thyroid things, it's still going to be an issue for you. I'm talking about, like me, I was having stomach issues and other responses to this gluten bread that was in everything. And guys, I am happily, comfortably eating gluten on a regular basis. Doing it slow was helpful for me. Now, I do not want you to be following me blindly. I am just sharing this for you to start, go jump off into the research realm that is a plethora of knowledge out there. And it's really hard to dig through because there's so much gluten-free, gluten-free, gluten-free. But I'm just here encouraging you that maybe it's the product versus the gluten. Maybe it's the fact that we have sprayed our fields of wheat and the pesticides are just wreaking havoc. If the pesticides are killing little bugs, what do you think we're made of? We are made of bugs. Our intestine are made of microbes. We are hurting ourselves to the max. And I have spent the last 10 years trying to figure out how to make us feel better. Look how yummy. I mean, if you're gonna do a cheese and bread option, can you get better or healthier than raw cheese and some sourdough? Well, I guess I can. I can go into freshly ground flour and making cheese myself.